America smart again. It's the Krieger Files with Dave Krieger. Are you tired of your boss stealing from your paycheck to send to a government that's writing checks its body can't cash? It's the government's worst nightmare. Dave Krieger.
Yep, our Hump Day edition is here, 5 minutes after the hour, and lots of news to cover today. No guest on board. We're trying to get Priscilla Romans from the Graith Care folks onto the show in the next day or so. And I'm reaching out to Peter McCullough. Wouldn't it be interesting to find out about COVID? Now that Alex Berenson and other reporters are jumping all over this thing again. Yes, they're writing that a Yale University team led by a top immunologist has found that some people who got the COVID jabs have damage to their immune systems, as well as high and rising levels of spike protein in their blood. Researchers released the findings today in a preprint. They hope to publish it as soon as they can in a peer-reviewed journal. Yeah, good luck with that. We still do not know the full ramifications of how bad these infections get, but immune system damage has been confirmed, though not identical to the changes caused by HIV. Those of you know, HIV is the human immunodeficiency virus, right? AIDS is what it ends up becoming, the acquired immune deficiency syndrome. It's not just a gay man's disease, all right? But we already know that HIV is 4% of the jab. That's what makes it a recombinant virus. That's why it keeps recreating itself over and over again. And of course, the protein mRNA COVID jabs from Pfizer and Moderna cause our cells to make in the blood patients up to 2 years after being jabbed. Pretty scary stuff, huh? Thought you ought to know. Never hurts, right? That's why we're here. Of late, you know who Katie Hobbs is, right? The alleged governor of Arizona. Some of you don't believe that she belongs there, but she has vetoed a bill yesterday, speeding up. It's what it would do. If that bill was actually signed into law, it would speed up ballot counting in Arizona. And of course, she vetoed it because she said, oh, well, that will make voting more difficult. I fail to understand that logic. But again, hello. It was introduced by Republican State Senator or Representative Lauren Hendricks, of course. No relation to Jimmy. Same spelling, but no relation. It would have changed Arizona election laws by eliminating emergency voting centers and setting a new deadline for voters to drop off early ballots. You see, she doesn't want election integrity. And that's why everybody is getting attacked in her state, because anybody that goes in there and tries to jump all over Arizona election laws and that they're violating them or accuses them of election interference or stealing elections or whatever, they get prosecuted. So you got to be careful whose trampoline you jump on, so to speak. Today is an interesting day for Leonard Peltier. He is an American Indian activist who, of course, everybody is writing far left. Not true. He was convicted of executing 2 FBI agents back in the Pine Ridge Reservation incident. He was released from a Florida prison, that's Coleman unit, yesterday, thanks to Joe Biden's commutation. You see, they all want to glorify Biden. The guy's not in his right mind. You know, why, here's the thing. He didn't want to get everybody pissed off. But see, the thing is nobody ever bothered to investigate. And we had David Hill on the show explaining this. Rob Robideau is the one who pulled the trigger and killed the 2 FBI agents, but he's not around to convict. He passed away. Most of the people at that time are gone, except Leonard. Leonard got convicted and railroaded into prison. And now he's 80 and in bad health, and Trump should just pardon him and forget about it and let the guy get on with his life. There's absolutely no proof. And see, when the government wants to railroad you, they will. They will beat it out of you one way or another. They'll get a conviction one way or another. I mean, 92% of all convictions, as we know, come out of the mouth of the accused. Because when they get questioned, their attorney is not there. And they get hauled in and they start asking questions instead of talking in general terms or saying, sorry, I want my attorney. I have the right to remain silent because anything I say can and will be used against me in a court of law. Is that what you call that? Huh. Amazing how that works. Now, I just wonder about that, too, because we had Andrew Brank on the show yesterday, and he has a new piece out, by the way, that today the Supreme Court is doing a face-off with these judges because John Roberts, he's had it with these judges, these inferior court judges, as Branca refers to them as, locking up the administration, or at least trying to, with these restraining orders, these TROs, these unelected, black-robed, inferior trial court judges. He wants them, you show up in front of the Supreme Court today, and of course, Trump's people are going to be there too. You get to explain your position to the Supreme Court Chief Justice, and he'll decide whether or not your suit has any merit or whether your allegations have any merit. Because if he thinks that all this is an attempt to interfere with Trump trying to do the right thing, he's going to, you know what, can it. Can it. Yeah. I can't say the whole word, but I can say part of it. You know where I'm going with that, right? So there's all sorts of arguments going on right now. Trump's firing of special counsel Hampton Dellinger, TRO issued by trial judge Amy Berman Jackson, ordering Trump to give Dellinger his office back and prohibiting Trump from firing Dellinger even for cause. You know, all of this stuff is coming out. And the hearing is set for today at 2 p.m. Eastern. And we can expect an order today, either allowing anti-Trump forces to continue binding the president from this endless series of TROs by executive fiat, or making it clear that this patently political practice by the federal trial courts is not going to be tolerated. It's all junk. And of course, a lot of people are wondering, well, what about Cash Buddy? Where's Cash Patel? Cash up Patel. Where are you, Cash? Yeah. If you go to my Facebook page, Dave Krieger, if you go there, you'll see me and Cash. There's a picture of us. The guy, he's a good guy. He really is. I mean, anybody that shows up at the Clay Clark Reawaken America tour and speaks before these audiences, that hangs out with Mike Flynn and other people like that, they're good people. I really believe he wants to do the right thing. But again, like we talked about with Andrew Branca, the attorney, yesterday, we're talking about the difference between accountability and retribution. They're dissimilar in nature. Retribution is using the DOJ, like the Biden administration did, to weaponize and take down your political opponents, where holding people accountable is you send somebody in to evaluate and investigate whether or not they were part of this issue, where they were weaponized and their office was weaponized and turned into something other than what it was designed to do under the Constitution. The FBI director that Cash Patel is being nominated for, or has been nominated for by the Senate committee, has a term of 10 years. And as you know, Christopher Wray, you know, the one that I say, do the little Hoyt accent song, Christopher Wray, may your hens never lay, may the rats eat your mail, may your testicles fail. Remember that? It was Officer Ray. It was Hoyt Axton's song, right? Okay. I just like to have fun with it, you know. Yeah, the last part of it was Officer Ray, may you have a bad day, may your wife run away with a hippie. Talking about cruising down Hollywood Boulevard. It's just, you know, one of these little ditties Hoyt Axton wrote. He wrote some stuff for Steppenwolf, for those of you music buffs out there. The phone lines are open, by the way, at 844-769-2944 if you're listening to the show. Please let Todd, when he answers the phone, let him know that, hey, I'm listening to the show right now and I got a comment or a question I have for Dave. So, could you put me through? If you haven't been listening to the show, don't call up and no, I want you to listen to the show. I really do. Tell your friends. Tomorrow is the day that the full Senate is supposed to vote on Kash Patel's nomination as to whether or not he gets in. And I have a feeling that your friend and mine, Mitch the Bitch McConnell, is going to vote against it because Mitch is losing his marbles. He's as bad as Biden, if not worse. Biden falls over, Mitch falls over. I mean, you know a rhino when you see one, right? I mean, this is what is happening. Every time Trump does something, the left comes out screaming and swinging. And see, these people aren't smart. Because if they were smart, the left would just maintain and not do crazy stuff. But see what they do when Trump comes out. I mean, one person writes that he won the election in a landslide because the Democrats and the D.C. political machine made it happen. The elites in D.C. may have had overwhelming control, but they lack finesse in delivering the narratives and failed to hide their true intentions from the American people. And they got found out, for better or for worse. The U.S. elected a man widely viewed as a political outsider, namely Donald John Trump. He campaigned on an agenda that 15 years ago would have never held enough water with the American people to get behind it. But now, thanks to what can only be described as 4 years of gross incompetence on the part of a barely conscious Biden with the mental acuity of office furniture, it was all but destiny. Trump was going to win by a landslide, just like in 1980, anybody but Carter. And with Trump comes the idea of massive government cuts and Doge. It's hardly been a secret the U.S. government has been fiscally responsible. But why Doge? Why is that? It's all because of this fiscal irresponsibility. That's why Doge is there. So you have to wonder about these situations and what Musk is discovering and why all these lawsuits are being filed, because they don't want. They don't want their little cash cow like USAID stripped away. Because if it happens, they don't make any money. And they can't use that money to buy influence, which is what they're doing with some of that money. They are. And they're giving it to these NGOs that are bringing criminals into the country. So if you're going to break the law and you're an NGO, you deserve to lose your tax-exempt status. That's not weaponization. That's just holding people accountable. So Catholic Charities, I'm warning you. And you Lutherans out there that think it's okay to just bring illegals into the country, give me you're tired, you're poor, you bunch of socialists. You think it's okay to do that and bring wanton criminals into the country and watch them rape and murder your children and your women. And you think that's okay. You know what's going on with the Pope? Pneumonia in both lungs? Bilateral pneumonia, they call it. I know half of you out there are saying, the Vatican's just got way too much power and the Pope needs to drop dead. Well, that's not nice. I know you're thinking it. You wish he would just die and go away and they would have to go through the whole ritual and wave into the smoke and whatever. And, we have another Da Vinci Code replay itself. Oh, my. You wonder how these guys get in there. I mean, ever since I read about Pope Stephen dragging somebody up out of the grave and putting him on the stand and having a trial with a dead man's corpse and then dragging his bones down the street after they find him guilty. I mean, these people, whoo-hoo, yeah. They're as bad as Biden, fighting with a teleprompter. And speaking of word salad. Hey, you know what? They really need Tony Joe White. Would you rewrite Poke Salad Annie to Word Salad Cammy? Word Salad Cammy, Gator got your granny. We could only hope. Well, guess what Kamala, Miss Word Salad herself, has done? She has signed with Creative Artists Agency in Hollywood. The group is going to represent her on speaking engagements and publishing. They're going to work with Harris on her post-White House initiatives, creating strategic opportunities that expand her platform in support of the issues she has championed throughout her decades-long career in public service. Oh, my God. Word salad, Cammy. Yeah. CAA, by the way, represents Biden and the Obamas, too. Wow. The Shamalama Ding Dongs. There you go. What talent do they have that needs representing? I mean, their security clearances are gone. They should be. They don't need to be brought into this. They're done for. They're sucking off the teat of the taxpayer, drawing their bloody pensions. Not to mention all the money that they took out of the United States government in the coffers in the form of bribes and kickbacks that they don't want to see the light of day. Yeah, it's all alleged. Let's not get all in a tizzy here, folks. You know, this is what we think they're doing. I mean, there's enough evidence that Biden and China and Burisma and all the other. And what did Joe do? Joe says, I didn't have any contact with Hunter Biden's business associates, and there's pictures of them. All this garbage. I mean, this is what's crazy about it. And so, you know, when you have all this mismanagement in the government, well, of course you have Elon Musk out there as part of Doge looking into things, and now he's looking into the gold at Fort Knox. Imagine that. How much gold is there? Auditing Fort Knox's gold reserves is several decades overdue, according to an advocacy group executive. Yeah, they really need to go look into that. How much gold do we actually have? Is it still there? Wow, Fort Knox. Gotta love it. Yeah. How do we know that the gold wasn't stolen from Fort Knox and shipped elsewhere? We don't know until they go in. And of course, Rand Paul from Kentucky says, hey, do it, Musk, do it. Go, Elon. Yeah. You know, we have to have greater transparency, so we got to find out if the gold is still there. Walk in and do your best, Dr. Evil. Or no, it wasn't Dr. Evil. It was, who was it? The guy that, oh, yeah, it's you who spray painted gold. Yeah, gold member. Remember that? Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Yes. Oh. Yeah, okay. So much for that. Yeah, we'll find out whether or not it's there anymore. Now, here's another interesting story. We're moving into an era where these legislators are getting nuts. They're getting really nutty. In Ohio, are you ready for this? I got an Ohio story and a California story I'm going to get to before we go to break. Ohio lawmakers now there are two of them. All right. They are planning to introduce a bill that they have nicknamed the Conception Begins at Erection Act. It would make it a felony for a man to have unprotected sex if they don't plan on having a baby. Now, many are calling this ridiculous. The lawmakers are saying that's exactly the point. Sounds like every male that's ever lived in Ohio is going to become a criminal. I mean, that's just insane to propose. I don't know of anybody that's not going to be under arrest after this gets passed, if they do pass it. Sounds insane. Sounds a little wild. Sounds a little like, I don't know, abnormal. Proposed by Anita Somani and Tristan Rader, based on a bill in Mississippi. Representative Anita Somani has been an OBGYN for more than 30 years, and she's seen firsthand the damage restrictive laws have had on women. What other right do you know of where women can have different rights based on where they live versus men? If I live in a state that protects reproductive rights, I have more rights than somebody who lives in a state where reproductive rights have been restricted. Well, guys, you know, Somani explains that men can go to any state in the U.S. and have the same rights no matter where they are. Really? So what this bill does is it makes it a felony for a man to have unprotected sex without wanting a baby. It does have some exceptions. It doesn't apply if protection or contraception is used, if someone is masturbating or donating sperm, and it doesn't apply to members of the LGBTQ plus community. Oh, really? Really? So now you really think that this law is going to get passed? And so Representative Somani said it would be enforced by individuals reporting it. A felony comes with a hefty fine, too. A man could be tagged with a $10,000 fine max. Said the bill doesn't need to pass to accomplish its goal. It's more to make the statement, start the conversation. Well, they've definitely, yeah, Ohioans passed issue number 1, making abortion rights a part of the state's constitution. But now, what is all of this? Now we have a problem, so, it's okay to wank the weasel, jerk the gherkin, choke the chicken, flog the bishop, whatever the case may be. It's okay to do that, but boy, dare that you would insert it into a woman. I'm just a squirrel trying to get a nut. It's not like that. I mean, now they want to charge you $10,000 to have reckless sex. I really don't think this is going to fly, folks. Now we move to California. You want to talk about stupid is as stupid does. Hey, you people elected this bozo. You really think that that's going to stop? I think all men in Ohio should go out and get sterilized. What do you think? Hey, snip, 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 and a couple of la-las. Yeah, that's what vasectomy is all about. Then you'll be shooting blanks. Then you don't have to worry about paying $10,000 fine. You can go leave your emissions anywhere you want, nocturnal or otherwise. You don't have to worry about getting anybody pregnant. You don't have to worry about this is just reckless behavior. I mean, you elected these people. This is what bothers me. First, they get abortion rights, and now they want to tag men. Well, somebody's got to pay for the abortion. Really? Yeah, you won't get it out of federal funds. Yeah, we got too many pro-life people running around the United States right now. You see where the conflict is? It's just nuts. Now we move to California. We have a lawsuit out there I got to tell you about. Judge Sandra Ikuda. She is a, wow. We have a minor, okay? How is a minor allowed to get on Grindr? Do you know what Grindr is? Grindr Inc.? The case is Doe v. Grindr Inc., or Grindr LLC. This is an underage user that was allowed to get on Grindr, which is a gay dating hookup site, right? This John Doe, who got on Grindr and managed to put himself out there as a minor child, files a lawsuit against Grindr alleging the app facilitated his sexual exploitation by adult men, claiming that Grindr's design and operation allowed him to be matched with adults despite being a minor, leading to his rape by 4 men, 3 of whom were later convicted. Doe's lawsuit included state law claims for defective design, defective manufacturing, negligence, failure to warn, negligent misrepresentation, as well as a federal claim under the Trafficking Victims Protection Reauthorization Act. And what did the U.S. District Court for the Central District of California do? It dismissed his claims because of Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. Grindr has no duty of care. That's where negligence comes in, right? You have to demonstrate the other side had a reasonable duty of care to protect. Hey, if you snuck on there and you misrepresented yourself as somebody over 18, the age of majority, and that you were willing to, go in a tight end and come out a wide receiver, hey, that's on you, buddy. I'm sorry. And you know what? The United States, because the Central District of California Judge Sandra Ikuda, she threw the case out. She said, sorry, John Doe, you don't have standing, you don't have anything. Because Section 230, you went in there of your own accord. Grindr's not responsible for what happened to you. No, the men who were convicted are responsible for what happened to you, and now they're behind bars. You didn't get to sue Grindr. Grindr just made the website available. Nobody said you had to go on there and put yourself out there. And the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit, as liberal as they are, reviewed the case and affirmed the district court's dismissal. So go figure that one out, parents. Why weren't you monitoring what your kid was doing? My God, this just gets worse by the minute. I'll tell you, parents, you really have to start taking a little bit more. You gotta start paying attention to what your kids are doing. J&J, by the way, before we go to break, then we're going to come back and take your phone calls. I know, Chance, thanks for holding. We know you're out there. Johnson & Johnson is facing a critical test over its $10 billion proposal to end litigation on the baby powder. It's baby powder causing ovarian cancer. Yeah, we don't know yet. It's going to try to convince a judge to sign off on its third attempt to resolve thousands of lawsuits through their Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And who's handling that bankruptcy? Well, the same judge, Christopher Lopez, that's handling InfoWars. Oh, my God. Oh, you got to love it, boy. Just, yeah, it gets more intense by the day, doesn't it? We'll take your phone calls when we come back in 90 seconds. That's right. That's right. Don't go anywhere. Be right back. Dave Krieger here. Are you having issues with your credit? With interest rates as high as they are now, this would be a great time to invest in yourself by getting a copy of the Credit Restoration Primer. So when mortgage home interest rates finally do come down, you'll have already taken the necessary steps to get your credit score where it needs to be so you can move forward in life. Thousands of consumers have benefited from the Credit Restoration Primer, and you can too. Go to cloudedtitles.com today.
With inflation constantly chewing away at the value of paper money, perhaps it's time for Americans to bite back. Ownership of gold and silver coins provides great counterbalance to weaker paper money value. U.S. Coin Capital provides physical gold and silver coins. You can reach us directly at 1-800-878-2646, uscoincapital.com.
Need a document notarized even when one or more of the signers is out of state? What a faster way to close your real estate deals by getting your documents professionally notarized online at professionalnotaryonline.com. For more information and to book an appointment, visit professionalnotaryonline.com or call Aaron at 941-400-8282. A trusted Krieger Files partner. Good in all 50 states. That's 941-400-8282.
It's time to send another message to Washington. It's the Krieger Files.
Hey, it's our Wednesday edition, man. Why not? Yeah, you might have to flush twice if you're really serious about sending a message to D.C. because it's going to be a long way to get it there, right? All right, go to the phone lines right now. 844-769-2944. Chance in West Virginia. Hey, buddy, a long time since I talked. What's going on?
Hey, Dave Meister, how are you?
Doing great. Thanks for asking.
Are these Ohio legislators from the planet Absurdicon or what? Hey, Dave Meister, I got a good name for that Ohio bill. You know what I'm going to call it?
What?
I'm going to call it the Ridiculous Testicularist Bill. And another thing, Dave Meister, I think I'm going to move to Ohio because I see a good business opportunity coming up. I'm going to open up a saltpeter factory.
Oh, my goodness. There you go. All you guys that want to, I don't know, a house of ill repute. Oh, my. You got to love that.
Unbelievable. Have a good day, Dave Meister.
I appreciate that. Thank you, sir. I always like the humor. See, you can't fix stupid, and everybody knows this. This is an issue. We have a lot of people out there, and the more that these left libtards start screaming bloody murder, the more they expose themselves. I mean, it's worse than what happened in Northport, where a guy exposes himself, then goes on a high-speed chase with Northport police. Oh, my God. Why would you do something like that in the first place? You can't fix stupid. See, we have a lot of people that don't belong in the gene pool, but I'm sorry. There's nothing we can do about that. It's just, I'm past the point of tolerance on a lot of this stuff, folks. I'm not really trying to get in and make everybody upset. I like to throw the humor in there because literally, I mean, if kids are going to go out and eat Tide Pods or do whatever TikTok says as far as the challenge goes, if they're going to do stupid stuff like this, wow. Either mommy and daddy aren't paying attention to what they're doing and just letting them run loose, or mommy and daddy didn't want the offspring in the first place. So instead of having an abortion or using a condom, oh God, I can't believe it. Chance, no, I definitely understand where you're going with that. Wow. All right, Ned, we talked about Doge a little bit earlier, and why Doge? Well, because our government has been mismanaging money, our money, supposedly. It's not really our money when you look at it. It's just Federal Reserve notes. It's just debt notes that were given to us. But see, now Elon Musk wants to go audit Fort Knox, amongst other things, the IRS and whatnot. And the IRS turned around and decided that they were going to do an emergency audit of Pete Hegseth. Oh, come on. You talk about weaponization. These people still don't give up. Brady, you want to talk about Doge? What's going on?
Well, I just heard that Elon Musk now, since he's found about 4 or 5 trillion, he's going to give everybody in this country about a $5,000 Doge dividend.
I'll believe it when I see it.
No, it's in the works. Within the next couple of months, and since now the tariff system, which this country was run upon 100 years ago, is coming back under Trump, there will be no more tax system. Our country will gain all its revenue through tariffs. I love it. But
well,
the big thing is,
yeah. The tariffs, Brady, the tariffs are there to get people to get off of square one. You know that.
Well, yeah, but here's what's the best thing coming out in the next few weeks. Due to the fact that he's tying some of the Federal Reserve and our nation's dollar to the gold finally, he's going to have to determine what is the fair market value of gold, and it's going to be the benchmark starting spot. I'm thinking it's coming in at around 10,000 or 11,000 an ounce. We're within about a month of Donald Trump saying this is the now benchmark 1 ounce price of 11,000, and you'll never see that price ever go below 11,000 again. So we're, like he said, the golden age is upon us, and he is 100% correct.
Well, as far as the golden age goes, I'll tell you, Brady, if that happens, here we are, and we have a gold bar that is tied to fiat currency to guarantee legal tender for all debts, public and private, and it's still all part of the system. We're using an actual item that has intrinsic value to back something that has extrinsic value only because the will of we the people say that it does. I don't know which is more corrupt. Hoarding gold and setting a fixed price, trying to keep the dollar from collapsing so the will of we the people doesn't collapse with it. I really think that's where this is ending right now. I appreciate your call, my good man. Thank you. I want to move along because we got some more business news to go. Those of you who like to fly Southwest Airlines, they're about to cut 15% of their corporate jobs in an unprecedented move. This is the Dallas-based LUV, right? They are working to reduce costs and make changes. And so not only are 15% of the corporate roles going away, that amounts to 1,750 jobs, which includes some leadership positions. This according to Reuters. Now, I don't know if it's true. What Reuters says, because I can't believe everything Reuters writes about because they're very slanted. They're very left-wing. They're part of the mainstream media, but they're quoting CEO Bob Jordan, so I'm going to take them at their word. It's unprecedented, according to Jordan, in the 53-year history. We're at a pivotal moment as we transform Southwest into a leaner, faster, and more agile organization. The cuts are expected to be completed by the close of the second quarter. It's going to save the company millions of dollars. And not only is it going to cut jobs, but it's also going to stop operating at 4 different airports, and it's going to reduce flights from other airports to save money. Why? Because Boeing faces complications. Yep, the delays from Boeing and deliveries, because they use 737 planes, led to the cost-cutting measures because Boeing's in trouble. And Southwest, you know, when Boeing lost $231 million for the first quarter, and of course stocks went, you know, Bob Jordan, he had to do something. Recent news from Boeing, the aircraft delivery delays, we got to make some changes here. And that's what happens. People lose their jobs. And here's the thing about COVID and everything else. They found an excuse to punish us for wanting to take the chance to continue to bless other people's lives by keeping our places of business open and functional in complete disregard for what the government said. And then we come to find out that Deborah Birx, the doctor who came up with this nonsense about 6 feet apart, wear a mask, close the stores, stop the spread, just 2 weeks. All we want, and then all of a sudden 2 weeks became 2 months. Then it became 2 years. And all these mom and pop businesses went under. And the corporations survived. Now you see the corporations now are running into problems. And now we're finding out that all this government money out there was going into the pockets of the politicians through kickbacks and whatnot. Oh, hey, look, they got Menendez in New Jersey, right? They got him. He's doing 11 years. He took bribes. Don't think that all these other politicians don't have something going on and somebody's not greasing their palm somewhere, because they are. These people didn't get into office just to sit there and serve we the people. I bet you I can count on one hand how many people are legitimately there to serve we the people. And the rest of them are all on the take. That's why I have a hard time trusting the government and every bit of your tax dollars that are going to pay. Now Elon Musk is uncovering it all with Doge. That's why they don't like it. That's why they're running into court. That's why they're screaming bloody murder and filing lawsuits, because they don't want to be discovered. That's what's happening. And by the way, let's talk about the surveillance state here for a minute. Traveling in the U.S., right, is going to be an issue. On May 7th of this year, you have to have real ID. That is a star in the corner of your driver's license. It's a gold star. And if you don't have that, you will not be able to board domestic flights in the United States of America. You want to talk about surveillance state? There you go. The Real ID Act went into effect on May 11, 2008. Some states wanted to wait to begin issuing documents that comply with the law. Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles says the Real ID is a national effort to improve the integrity and security of state-issued driver's licenses and ID cards, which in turn will help fight terrorism and reduce identity fraud. So you're going to need a Real ID document to travel within the U.S., as well as visits to federal facilities. Documents that meet Real ID requirements are the driver's license or an ID card that each state currently uses. And again, you have to have a star inside of a circle in the upper right-hand corner of the card for it to be legitimate. If your driver's license has this icon, it means that it meets the Real ID standards. If not, you have to go to your local state Division of Motor Vehicles office and get it, because starting May 7th, 2025, travelers in the U.S. are going to be required to comply with Real ID regulations. You talk about surveillance state, folks. You can thank the USA Patriot Act for that. Oh, I feel so much more secure. How secure can you really be? Really? When you're in your own home and you force yourself to stay at home. I mean, right now, where I'm at, we've got less than an inch of ice-covered snow, vice versa. It's a mix. We got this wintry mix yesterday, 15-degree temperatures when I got up this morning. And there's ice on the ground with snow mixed in with it. So it's very crunchy and very slippery, and you don't dare, unless you're stupid, get in your car and drive on that stuff. Unless you know how to drive on ice, there are some nasty hills here that you're going to die if you try to navigate. It's just the way it is, but you can't fix stupid. And I mean, the truckers, you got to get from point A to point B. There's a lot of businesses still open, and they force their people to go to work, and they're all corporations. You think mom and pop businesses would stay open with something like this could endanger their customers? Wow. I mean, you got to think about that. Now, all these corporations are starting to cut jobs now, like Southwest, 1,750 corporate level jobs gone. Now, what does that mean as far as your customer service goes? Is that going to affect customer services? We don't know yet. It's happening, but we don't know yet. And of course, for those of you, we've been talking about recalls and whatnot. If you have confusion around the date labels of packaged goods, common sense, You've noticed some food products come with dates and codes printed on them, and people just, they don't pay attention. They just grab them off the shelf because they got to hurry up and get the hell out of the store before I spend any more money than I have to. But see, the thing is, now that food costs are skyrocketing, people want to make sure that they actually read the codes that are on there before they buy the product, because they don't want to throw their money away on bad stuff, right? So do the codes and the dates mean that the item has to be consumed by that date or just sold by that date? What about canned or packaged goods that show only a date like 2/1 of 25? Does that mean you could end up in the emergency room if you consume it a month later? Probably not. Infant formula and baby food under federal law are required to have product dating. Everything else is voluntary on the part of the manufacturers and processors. But hey, why should we trust them in this day and age? And then see, they scare half the population with bird flu or, what's a spongy junk that goes on inside cows' heads. And, you can't eat the meat from the cow because he had mad cow disease. It's spongy brains, the poultry's infected with H5N1. We got to kill several 100 million birds, and prices of eggs go up, which of course our new agricultural secretary says she's going to get to the bottom of this. Phrases like best before, better if used before, or best if used by tell you how long the product will retain its best flavor and highest quality. You'll find these phrases on products such as baked goods, cereal, snacks, and some canned foods. The food is still safe to eat after that date, but it may have changed somewhat in taste or texture. Now, if you happen to open it, you give it the smell test and a good visual test. So, like non-fat evaporated milk that's 3 years past its best by date will not smell sour, but it may leave a golden color, like school bus color. You may not want to, what's happened is it's separated. You may not want to use it. Wow. Any food that requires refrigeration, you definitely want to pay attention to the sell-by date. I wouldn't go past, 3 or 4 days. Seriously. Guaranteed fresh, you also see that on labels. It's often used for perishable baked goods. Beyond the date, freshness is no longer guaranteed. That's all it means. However, the product may still be edible, but the thing is you may have to put it in a hot oven to refresh it, except when you open it up and you see mold growing on it. See, that's how they found penicillin. It's bread mold, right? So if you happen to open up a loaf of bread you've had sitting on the counter, it wasn't in the freezer, and all of a sudden you see these, blue and white looking little things on it, you probably want to throw that out. You don't want to eat it. Some products bear a pack date indicating when it was packaged, although this date is often encrypted so that only manufacturers, wholesalers, and retailers can read it. The sell-by date is usually found on highly perishable foods, such as meat, milk, and bread. This guides the store clerks to rotate the stock. And many times you go in and you see markdown prices on stuff. And you got to look at the sell-by dates there, because if you see the stuff that's past due, like it happened yesterday, like it says sell-by February 18th, 2025, and here you are on the 19th and you're out grocery shopping, it's probably, and you look at the meat and the meat looks a little like it's browning, I wouldn't buy it. If it still looks red and it looks fresh, I know some of you taking magnets out there so you can see whether there's any mRNA in there because the magnet sticks, right? Tell me you're still doing that, okay? Oh, yeah. Oh, there's everybody out there. I mean, there are people that really, they're not taking any chances. I don't blame them. With all that graphene oxide and crap in the food, I don't blame them. I really don't. You have to also just look at the eggs, and you got to know something about eggs. They're safe to be consumed 4 to 5 weeks beyond the date as long as they're kept refrigerated. Now, for those of you who raise chickens, I'd take it from me, I've done it, all right? If you don't refrigerate the egg when you collect them, you leave them just the way you found them. I mean, you can take a cloth and wipe off any exterior dirt or poop or whatever's on the egg, and you put them in a carton, and you leave them on the counter. They can sit there for 3 weeks before you actually wash them, clean them, and put them in the fridge. Now, once you do that and you put them in the fridge, you can consume them 4 to 5 weeks afterwards. I wouldn't go any longer than that. Most people, look, if you're egg eaters and you like eggs, usually they're gone in a week or so. All right. So not to worry about stuff like that. Right. But as long as they keep refrigerator, you're okay. Right. The fresher the food, the better it is. That's simple. If we don't talk about stuff like this, people, you get confused. The older you get, sometimes you forget these things. And hey, it's okay. It comes with age. We get it. Just look at Biden fighting with a teleprompter every time he turns around. At least he's not word salad Annie, right? Word salad Cammy. Oh, my. And now we have another federal judge. This is what I like about these inferior federal judge. A federal judge in Maryland, Deborah Boardman, issued a nationwide preliminary injunction in response to a lawsuit by the immigrant advocacy group, CASA, and the Asylum Seeker Advocacy Project, ASAP, as well as 5 pregnant mothers whose kids would be impacted by the executive order, to block enforcement of the order that would end birthright citizenship for children born to illegal immigrants. 5-page order from Boardman. Well, I have a feeling that that's going to end up in front of the Supreme Court today as part of, Trump's right to stop all this nonsense. The IRS, here's another warning sign. I'm not condemning. I'm just giving you the news the way it is. They have expanded their free tax filing options to 70% of U.S. taxpayers. A new report shows the free service remains underused, with less than 1.9% of those who qualify taking advantage of the program. And why is that? Because people don't trust the IRS. They don't trust the government. They don't trust squat. That free file program is available to those with an adjusted gross income of $84,000 or less in 2024 in order to qualify for the program. And so you have this participating software companies out there that have it. The income standards are set to ensure a majority of the federal taxpayers qualify for the program, so they keep lowering the bar so more stupid people won't take it seriously. And it's like, here, sign your name. There's what you owe. Send it in. Or they take it right out of your bank account when you electronically file. See, isn't that the beauty of it? Why is that? I can tell you in one simple phrase: possession is 9/10 of the law. And as long as they got it, you ain't getting it back. Not unless you file all sorts of paperwork. Oh, my. There is a new report out that Brazilians are illegally using the WhatsApp application to evade ICE raids here in the United States of America. Yep, they're messaging, WhatsApp group messaging. They're sharing live information regarding ICE's raids to avoid getting deported, according to a Brazilian news outlet on Monday. And why is that? Because it's all Brazilians that are participating in this. They're here illegally. They don't want to leave. They like it here. They like doing all the things they're doing, whether it's legal or not. Yeah. More layoffs in the auto sector, and it's not just here. It's in it's in Germany. The UK's done their share, but Germany right now, their auto parts giant Continental AG, 3,000 research and development jobs in the automotive division are being cut. They're preparing to spin off the struggling business amid broader turmoil for the auto industry. And why is that? Because they got overly aggressive with electric vehicles. I should have known. It wasn't going to live long. For those of you that went out and bought an electric vehicle, don't do the Sheryl Crow thing. It ended up back in Elon Musk, which ended up being given back to Trump anyway. So what she did was just stupid. It made her look like an idiot. But then again, she's part of the left. The Postmaster General, by the way, Louis DeJoy, is stepping down. Tells the USPS board to go find a successor. Yeah, I'm proud. The 75th Postmaster General of the United States, I'm stepping down so I can allow the Postal Board or directors or governors or whatever they call themselves to begin the process of selecting a successor. When are we going to stop using the Postal Service? When it costs $1, $2 a stamp? Right now, what are they, 77 cents, and they keep going up? I'm sorry, it's not your mail carrier's fault. Don't shoot the messenger. It's that bloody ass post office. It is a private corporation. You got to understand that. It operates not the way that UPS and FedEx do. So, don't blame the postal carriers. It's not them that caused this problem. Last year, the U.S. Postal Service ended up with a $9.3 billion deficit. That means it had to suck money out of the taxpayers and the U.S. government and raise postage. Not good. Stem cell research, you ever wonder how good they are? Well, people with type 1 diabetes, rather. There is China. They are doing something. This is what they're reporting. Groundbreaking medical experiment. 25-year-old woman with type 1 diabetes, T1D in China, successfully undergone stem cell therapy that enabled her to produce her own insulin, reducing her reliance on injections. The woman was treated with stem cell-derived islet cells developed from her own fat cells, which were injected into her abdomen. This experimental treatment has allowed her to remain insulin-free for over a year since the procedure. It was conducted at Tianjin First Central Hospital. They converted the woman's fat cells into pluripotent stem cells capable of developing into various cell types, and hope to God they didn't put mRNA in it. Within 75 days, she no longer needed insulin injections with blood glucose levels consistent with a healthy range, right? Okay, just so you know. I got to tell you about the science. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And then we talk about how much you need to buy a luxury home in every state. Question is, why would you? For example, if you want to live in the lap of luxury in New York, you can expect to pay an average of $5.49 million. With that would mean you have to have a minimum annual salary of $1.15 million in order to qualify for it. How many millionaires you know out there that want to move to New York City and have to put up with the parking and the tolls and Governor Yokel Hokel? West Virginia, luxury home's going to cost you $750,000. How many actually want to spring for that? You're going to have to be making $158,000 a year in order to qualify for that. See, it's all about whether or not you're going to go out and get a mortgage, and it's all about securitized paper. By the way, I have put out 2 new segments in the last 2 days, Part A and Part B, of this is how to build a case development, Part A and Part B, all under Section 6 or Part 6 of the foreclosure blogs I've been posting on Substack. Go to davekrieger.substack.com and check it out. Watch us. If you missed any portion of the show, you can go to thekriegerfiles.com. We're on YouTube and Rumble as well later in the day. Until then, we'll see you tomorrow. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. Stay safe.
Many Americans are growing increasingly concerned about the rapidly growing U.S. government deficits, recognizing the additional printing of paper money devalues U.S. currency. To compensate, American gold and silver coins will provide wealth protection. U.S. Coin Capital provides physical gold and silver coins delivered directly to our clients. You can reach us at 1-800-878-2646, uscoincapital.com.
Need a document notarized even when one or more of the signers is out of state? What a faster way to close your real estate deals by getting your documents professionally notarized online at professionalnotaryonline.com. For more information and to book an appointment, visit professionalnotaryonline.com or call Aaron at 941-400-8282. A trusted Krieger Files partner. Good in all 50 states. That's 941-400-8282. Dave Krieger here. Are you having issues with your credit? With interest rates as high as they are now, this would be a great time to invest in yourself by getting a copy of the Credit Restoration Primer. So when mortgage home interest rates finally do come down, you'll have already taken the necessary steps to get your credit score where it needs to be so you can move forward in life. Thousands of consumers have benefited from the Credit Restoration Primer, and you can too. Go to cloudedtitles.com today.
Broadcasting to the U.S. and around the world by way of clear digital audio, 22,500 miles above the planet. This is the Global Star Radio Network.